I brought my team from the Student Achievement School Support Department, and that would be Helena Postrick and Marie Shermer. Linda Hutchison was supposed to be here as part of the presentation team tonight, but she is ill, so we are going to do our best to carry forward. Helena and Linda actually have been the two key people in our department, spearheading the Common Core implementation and all of the training that we have done. So you're also going to hear a little bit about where we're with science standards, because we haven't heard a whole lot about that. So we will give you an update. And in front of you, we have also provided you with a sample, some sample binders of some of the training materials that we have been using this year. The materials have been prepared in-house and disseminated, and teachers have been provided with these materials as well.
Success. These standards, now being implemented by more than 44 states across the nation, were built upon strengths and lessons learned in states. They were informed by top-performing countries and grounded in research and evidence. And practitioners, content experts, teachers, researchers, and leaders in higher education and business all came together to make it happen. These standards were developed by states and for states. They are the clearest statements yet about the knowledge and skills that students need to master in order to be prepared for college and the workforce. The standards were designed with great care to ensure that they were clear, consistent, rigorous, and relevant. All are undeniably important when it comes to preparing students to successfully meet the demands of college and the workplace. Thanks to the unprecedented collaboration among states, young people, regardless of their background or where they live, will be taught to standards that, once mastered, will have prepared them for college and career success. Take a glimpse into the promise of these standards as states do the hard work of implementing them with fidelity and care. Use what you hear to start engaging conversations, stimulate creativity in the classroom, help align expectations, and get communities involved. Find out why state standards are far from common.
I think that just validated the concerns around technology as we move into implementation of the Common Core. So we'll start with the PowerPoint. Okay, a little bit of background around the Common Core. You have, I think most people in the audience have heard that, we are actually very quickly transitioning into the Common Core state standards. And I want to point out the operative word common as I go through the beginning of this presentation. So as far as the background, how did the Common Core state standards come about? Well, it actually did not, maybe contrary to what some people may think, coming from primarily the educational community. Actually, it was spearheaded by two organizations, one of which is the Council of Chief State School Officers. So for California, that would be Tom Torlakson, our State Superintendent of Instruction, and also the organization of the National Governors Association. And I think many of you will remember, thinking back to the standards, how across the nation, every state had its own standards. Every state had its own assessment system. So as we are trying to look at, families moving, across the country, they can be transitioning from schools that are working on some concepts at a grade level, going to another state where doing something else. So because of that, I think these, national leaders got together and say, we need to address this issue. So that's the beginning of the Common Core, state standards. And the mission of these standards is to provide consistent, clear understanding of what students are expected to learn when they are in our schools. How are we preparing them to be 21st century citizens? The standards are also designed to be robust and relevant to the real world. We are looking at needing to be competitive in the global society. How are our students, as they leave our systems, how are they faring, in college, in higher education, as well as in their chosen careers? So going back to August 2010, the California State Board of Education actually adopted these Common Core state standards. And previously, we had the content standards for about 10 years. So we have moved very quickly since August 2010. My counterpart actually in West Contra Costa County recently wrote that she was sitting in a meeting in Sacramento, and all of a sudden, people are talking about the Common Core standards being here. It is not just coming, it's here. And so I know as a department, we quickly launched the first year, 2010, 2011. We quickly got up to speed. We learned as much as we could. We, took advantage of training across the state and locally. So as I said, the operative word here is Common Core state standards. And these are internationally benchmarked to ensure that students are being competitive globally. So we look at countries internationally where students are performing at very high levels. What are they doing there? We look at what are the fundamental knowledge that students need as they are, graduating from our system into college and being ready for career. And also sharing is rigorous academic content where there are clear expectations for all students. So as you can see, across the states we have, now this number is probably a little bit off, over 3 million teachers who are now connected into the Common Core standards. So think about all of these teachers across the country being able to, connect with each other, link with each other, learn from each other, through a professional learning community. The other thing you have also heard is that in California, we used to have the reputation of having the most rigorous content standards. And actually, a big part of the Common Core standards include what we have had in California, so it's building on top of that. So here are a couple of documents that these what the standards look like. So and what you will hear is that we have Common Core standards in mathematics, and we have Common Core standards in English language arts. So I'm going to go briefly into what is included in these standards, not just what students need to know, but also in the math standards, they will also offer ideas on how we can design courses, based on these standards. So for example, traditionally we have at the high school, we have the algebra, geometry, algebra 2 sequence. There's also an option to look at integrated math courses. So they present examples of those. With the English language arts, they're actually based on anchor standards, and they are designed a little bit differently and structured a little bit differently. They also provide appendices that shows the research supporting the elements.